Brendan, GM of the stunning Adare Manor in County Limerick. How has business been of late, and what are your expectations for 2024?
Thanks for having me on. Well, business as of late has been, on the increase since COVID. We've seen everything from the pent-up demand coming at us, a really strong growth in the Irish market. People, I think COVID taught people a lot about the island of Ireland and the accommodation and tourism offerings that we have here locally. So we've seen a really strong growth and continued growth of that market. So 22, 23 have been amazing years. The outlook for ahead, 24, is looking very strong, and incredible indicators around 25 already. A huge amount of interest in international groups visiting Ireland in 2025. So they're beginning to plan ahead now, which is what they used to do as of old pre-COVID. But really positive indications. A lot of confidence there now for the next 2 years.
Great. And Adare was famously purchased by JP McManus in, I think it was 2014, so nearly 10 years this year. And obviously a lot of money was spent, refurbishing, restoring, and it's truly a world-class hotel and visitor experience. Now, tell us a little bit about the facilities and I suppose the ongoing work, because I understand you're closed for a couple of weeks, actually spending further money on the property until you reopen at the back end of January.
Look, we saw with the change in ownership, the investment into the property was immense, and the hotel reopened as, I suppose, a larger and a completely restored and refurbished version of what was here previously. So would have been a 63-bedroom hotel with a beautiful 18-hole golf course. The purchase and the period of time spent restoring and renovating everything increased our footprint to being 103 bedrooms and a complete redesign of the golf course. So with the redesign of the golf course came a lot of interest from people at the European Tour, and conversations were afoot back in the redesign of the course about could it be possibly a suitable venue for a future Ryder Cup. So I suppose the reinvestment allowed us to operate in the ultra lux kind of space for the last number of years. We're very conscious of upkeep and repair and maintenance. You mentioned that we're closed for a little period at the moment. So that's just part of our ongoing maintenance program and really ensuring that Adare Manor stays to the fore when it comes to luxury experiences in Ireland. A few little projects, brewing. We've got an expansion of our retail offering going on. So there's a lot of work going on during this closure to bring a new retail experience to our guests for the year ahead. We're also restoring an old cottage that's been on the estate since the 1800s. It didn't have a purpose or use up until now. And we've got a little culinary idea there that's brewing. So watch this space for later in the year. But the closed period right now gives us a chance to do a lot of the invasive type of work that we wouldn't like to have going on while we have our guests around.
Yeah. And you mentioned things like food and stuff. I mean, a truly world-class 5-star experience like your own is more than just the bedroom or the welcome at reception, or it's the A to Z, isn't it? The customer expects a top-class service and product in all areas.
Yeah, and there's a couple of things driving, especially when you put the word resort into the title of your business. The expectation there, especially with people that travel internationally, they've been at a resort somewhere else, and the expectations are certainly growing within luxury travelers. But like what we offer here, from the A to Z, or the gate experience, even when you arrive at Adare Manor and you pull in off the road and you meet our first point of contacts here are the team at the main gate, and the drive up the avenue and how you're received and how you're welcomed. And that's just the initial first impression piece. And even before that, there's so much that goes into it, from reservations, and there's an entire team of people dedicated to even pre-calling the guests and planning all of the aspects of their stay. So people usually spend 2 to 3 days with us, and they get to enjoy the full 880 acres that we have available to us. So we have everything from Axtro and falconry. We have a new addition that came online during COVID, which is called the Paddle Club. 2 indoor paddle tennis courts, a beautiful pool area, a new gym. So we even upgraded some of the facilities during COVID to enhance the offering of the estate. Food and beverage wise, numerous outlets. We have dedicated outlet that looks after just breakfast and afternoon tea. Our afternoon tea is open to the public, so every day we welcome people for that experience. The Carriage House, another food and beverage offering of ours, a standalone restaurant, has about a 50-50 split between residents of the hotel and people in the local community, or people passing by while they're on vacation in Ireland, going maybe from Dublin to Kerry, and it's a restaurant worthy of a stop. So it's on the radar there from that perspective. And there's so much more to it, even inside the hotel, and just the service offering. It's unparalleled, to be fair, when it comes to hotels.
Yeah, no, it's stunning. It truly is. And where are your main markets, Brendan? Is it the high end US visitor, North American visitor? Is there an element of an Irish market there? Where do you obviously want to diversify as well. You don't want to have all your eggs in the one basket. So I'm sure you're conscious of that.
There's definitely been a change in how that market's been made up in the past 2 or 3 years. I would say that the old thinking in Ireland, like you go back 10 years in Ireland, the hotels like Adare Manor were dependent on the North American business. And there was an off season then, which was the Irish market. And you would have noticed huge changes in occupancy. Post-COVID, there's a really nice balance now between Irish market and US. I would go so far as to say they're equal in size, about 40% each segment. So 40% American, 40% local Irish market, and the other 20% made up of strong cohort of UK and Northern Ireland, and the rest maybe continental Europe. We look to other markets to see, is there growth opportunities? I know people have been looking at, the Asia Pacific region and markets over there, but they were slower to recover from COVID than other parts of the world. So I don't think, the business plans we would have had in place about 5 or 6 years ago to go after some of those markets, we're only beginning to get back in now and pick up on where those plans were. I do see that there's a Middle Eastern audience coming to Ireland. They spend a lot of time in London summer, and they're now beginning to venture further afield and come across to Ireland for short breaks. But the American market in the summertime is probably still continues to be one of the most valuable markets in luxury hospitality in Ireland. But it's incredibly nice to be able to say that our Irish audience has grown to now being a very important market segment for a hotel like ours. And we've worked very hard at growing that and maintaining it and keeping it. And I think what the Irish guest wants is a place that they can go almost at the drop of a hat on a weekend, get away, get out of Dublin Friday evening, not have to deal with the stress or strains of going through the airport for a weekend away. So we've seen huge loyalty with the Irish market, and we were incredibly grateful to their business, to the Irish market for their business during COVID when travel was restricted to other parts of the world. And I think the way in which a lot of Irish hotels have looked after the Irish customer over the last number of years is being rewarded now by a really loyal Irish market that will spend locally, whether going out for a meal in a hotel restaurant, I feel, is on the up as well. And, taking weekend breaks or holidays in Ireland is definitely a change.
Yeah. Talk to us a moment, Brendan, about business costs, because obviously running a resort like Adare Manor is an extremely costly business, I'm sure. So you have to hit certain occupancy levels and, bring in certain revenue targets and so on. But business costs have gone up quite significantly within an Irish context recently. We saw the VAT increase last year, which none of us welcomed. Since this month, we've seen labour costs are going to go up in terms of the move towards a living wage and the relativity expectations of other employees, and pension auto-enrollment and enhanced sick pay and all the other things that an employer has to foot the bill for. Does that pose a challenge for the likes of yourself, or is the market to a certain extent give you a bit of a buffer?
I think it puts a challenge on all of us, and it's no different at our level, to be able to continue to maintain and have the best customer-facing product. You need to continually reinvest, and that's the same is true from every sector in hospitality, whether it's our transport providers with their bus fleets, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star offering in Ireland. By international standards, we offer really good quality hotels in each part of the market there, and that only happens because the owners and the managers of hotels in Ireland continually reinvest. To do that and to support that, we need a little bit left at the end of the year to keep reinvesting. So the costs that you talk about, they are putting pressure on that. And the one thing Ireland has to be proud of is we have a really good product by international standards. So we need to maintain that to keep our competitive advantage When it comes to, travelers making a choice in the US, maybe they're going to Italy, are they going to France, are they going to go to Switzerland, you're going to come to Ireland. So there is pressure on us. You've had, cost of food, as you say, VAT, wage increases, all eats from, like, hospitality operates on relatively thin margins. Unfortunately, we have to pass some of these costs through to the end customer. And again, that affects our competitiveness, again, when you look internationally. And Irish prices now are at some of the highest possibly in Europe. I still think we provide exceptional value for money. I don't think our tourism regions are overrun with tourists. If anything, there's a shortage in the supply of accommodation in the country. But it's tricky because a couple of changes to your occupancy and a little bit of a tweak to your margin, and a hotel will find that when they get to their year end, they may not have the funds to reinvest like they would have wanted to. And we need to keep our business and our industry viable. Unfortunately, we're seeing operators who've been in business 15, 20 years, very well-respected operators, particularly in the restaurant space, reading over the past couple of weekends in the Sunday papers, very respectable operators having to wind up or close their businesses because there is no buffers anymore. They're almost operating month to month, and that's just unfortunately taking out some incredible hospitality products out of the market.
And margins are so tight, as you say, and that's all levels of the business. You mentioned the Ryder Cup in 2027. Obviously, Ireland was delighted when Adare Manor won the right to host it. How are preparations going for that? Because 2027 might sound, it's 3 years away, plenty of time. But I would imagine you're having weekly, monthly meetings with the organisers. How are preparations going? We hear lots about it in terms of a helicopter view, in terms of a bypass for Adare and all this sort of stuff. But you're there at the coalface. What's it like, and how's it looking at the moment?
There's been
and can you guarantee a European victory? We all want to know.
I know. Plans are afoot for a good number of years already, and there's been a lot of communication with the team. So the European Tour and the Ryder Cup, the dedicated Ryder Cup team within the European Tour, have been on the ground with us frequently. I suppose that frequency increases now dramatically since the conclusion of the Ryder Cup in Rome. We become the next European venue. As mentioned, we are in a period of closure, but our golf course closes annually as well for a little bit of a longer period. We always close in December, we open in March. So we have a very tight program of works over the next 3 years, which are preparations that will help support the infrastructure that will come in around the event. So this year, well underway with a number of projects on the golf course locally. The European Tour and the Ryder Cup team, they're visiting frequently. They're meeting local stakeholders. They've been having meetings with different, government departments, local authorities, stakeholders in the community, and really getting the ball rolling for what will be an amazing Ryder Cup in 27. They learn every time they do a Ryder Cup, and coming fresh off the back of Italy, the most successful Ryder Cup hosting that's been had, the largest TV viewings, the largest number of patrons on site. They want to kind of move the needle a little bit and go one better for Ireland. So we have a very enthused team at the Ryder Cup level. Can we guarantee a European win? I can tell you everything will be done within everybody's power to set up the golf course to favour the Europeans. And look, it's a privilege that the captain has. So whoever that captain for 27 will be for the European side, they'll be able to work with the team here and our agronomists and set up the course, which will hopefully nudge Europe's favour.
To suit the Europeans,
absolutely. But the momentum the Europeans had from Rome, I mean, just the team spirit and the TV viewing was electric on the Sunday. Just watching how it all finished up.
And to think that TV viewing will be Adare, will be Ireland. I mean, it's a wonderful opportunity to showcase all that's good about Ireland, not just the Adare Manor and the golf course in Adare, but all that's good about Ireland in terms of its people, its heritage, its culture, its scenery. It'll be on a global shop window.
It's noted, and excitement is building at the European side of things, where they really can't wait to host another Ryder Cup in Ireland after the success of the K Club. And one of the highlights in the golfing calendar in Europe is the Irish Open. And the reason is one of the highlights is how well people and international visitors are looked after. And, you know, one of the amazing examples of the last couple of years was how well the Hinch handled an Irish Open. And the sense of place and the atmosphere and the sense of being in Ireland and the crack, like if you were to bottle it and say, what is it? What are they looking for? It's that sense of the crack that was had pre and post or going, you know, for pints afterwards. So having the Ryder Cup visit the west of Ireland, having it visit Adare, Limerick, Ireland, the real legacy piece is to leave people with a sense of where it was, you know, versus it being on a beautiful golf course. There's so much more to it. So the region is really coming in behind all of this. And I'm very excited for how we will make people feel at the end of the 27 Ryder Cup. And we're anticipating people to come for lengthy visits to Ireland. We think international visitors could spend up to 10 or 14 days in the country, combining it with other golf experiences and playing some of the most iconic courses in the world that are most of which in Ireland are located along the western seaboard. And I think that Ryder Cup will shine a light on the golf product in Ireland and how amazing it is. And, you know, I travel internationally quite a bit and meet, you know, travel professionals internationally. Everybody knows about golfing in Scotland. And there and thereabouts is Ireland. But I think that Ryder Cup will really help ignite a passion for visitors to come and golf in Ireland.
Yeah, no, it'll put us on the next level. Brendan, thank you so much. We're really looking forward to the Ryder Cup, but there's 3 years between there and now. So best of luck with the year ahead, and we wish you continued success.
Thank you. Nice speaking with you today.
Thanks.